Good morning, friends. Welcome to my first video of me on my morning walk talking about whatever is on my mind. I'm sorry, this is a very amateur, low effort production. There's traffic, audio is probably crap. It is what it is. I wanted to just start talking about like where I've lived. So I grew up in Iceland, and I'm in my late 30s. I can still say that. I left in 2008 for obvious reasons. The financial crash, if you're unaware. The economy kind of collapsed overnight, so I thought, I'll go to university. Why not? I wanted to do it abroad. I didn't want to do it in Iceland, even though it was free in Iceland. But thanks to student loans, which are different in Iceland, the government provides them, I decided to go to the UK and lived there for 3 years. Worked there for a year. And I thought it was okay. I didn't live in like a major city. I guess I lived in a major city, but not like London or Manchester or one of those. And I wanted to try something else. So I was very keen on Canada for various reasons. So I figured let's try living in Canada. So I basically got into uni in Canada and decided to do a master's there. And I lived there for a couple of years. And it was okay. I actually found that it felt like a much wealthier society than the UK in many ways. But I would say I didn't really enjoy the cities over there. Obviously the nature was amazing, and that was probably my favorite thing. I lived in Vancouver, for the record, and it just felt like probably going to offend some Canadians here, but it just felt like kind of like a worse version of the US in a lot of ways. Everything's more expensive, taxes are higher, and there's a lot of like monopolies, like weird monopolies, like the telephone system, for example. And I feel like most people who kind of become good at things or are ambitious, you could say, not everyone, but a lot of them, they will just move across the border because it's easy for them, and they will double their salary and pay less tax. So a lot of people did that. So that kind of just made it feel a bit like it's nice, but maybe the opportunity wasn't amazing. This was Vancouver. I think Toronto is a lot better when it comes to this. But in general, I guess I didn't really like Vancouver very much. It was like downtown was kind of rough. Obviously, there's East Hastings. There's a lot of homelessness, a lot of social issues, a lot of drugs. And besides that, like downtown wasn't very interesting. And then you had sort of smaller cores outside of downtown. Some of them were pretty cool. And well, I lived in one of those. It was quite nice. But in general, I kind of just missed the UK cities in a lot of ways. They were more walkable. They were sort of medium density instead of like a low density sprawl of North American cities. And I also felt like every city or every place you go to in Canada, or you could say the same about the US, it's like every place is more or less the same. You've got the same box, massive shops, and it's just sort of like someone was playing City Skylines and copy pasting. So I didn't love it, but like Vancouver is really nice. It's a gorgeous city in many ways, and very livable, you could say. So after that, I moved to Hong Kong. I was there for a couple of years, and like I really like Hong Kong. I think I was at a point in my career where, you know, sort of starting out, and you want to maximize your income. And Hong Kong is very expensive to live. The rent is insane, and like, yeah, taxes are low, but back then, this was like 2013. I would say there wasn't a lot of opportunity here. The salary was quite low compared to like even like European cities, so it just wasn't a great deal overall. So I only stayed a couple of years and decided to go to London because, well, being from Iceland, I can just kind of go live there. And let's turn around here. I think that's far enough. And which made it simple for me to move there, but also I'm a software engineer, so I figured, you know, I can make good money in London. And it was quite nice. Like London, there's a lot of opportunity, good jobs, and yeah, just overall pretty good. I mean, it's expensive, but compared to the income, if I wanted to bump the income, I would have to go to either New York or San Francisco, and like the US visa situation is a pain. Like, it wasn't really worth it for me. So what was the best option? I lived in London for maybe 6 years, 2017 till last year, basically. And yeah, so I don't know if you can tell in the video, but this is uphill, so I'm gonna get a bit out of breath here. But yeah, I like London a lot in a lot of ways, and I still do. I think it's a great city in many ways, even though it has a lot of problems now. And the UK, I mean, the UK has never been amazing. Or maybe if you go back like 100 years when they just got shit done. But I think sort of after COVID, you really started to see a lot of the issues in the UK. They had the double whammy of COVID and Brexit, whatever your opinions on that might be. But it did have an effect regardless, and they didn't really capitalize on Brexit in the ways that they could have, I think. But I lived in central London, I lived in Zone 3, I lived outside of London, so tried all of it. And central London was okay, but you have you could say it's not very nice. It's not a nice place to live. It's fun to go there, but it's not a nice place to live. Zone 3 was great. Like, I lived near Wimbledon. Really liked it there. Probably my favorite place. But then a couple of times per week or so, you're heading into the office and there's a signal failure. Oh no. So you have to walk and take another train, or like, it was just a constant headache. It was really annoying. And it also took like 45 minutes to get into central London, which is kind of crazy. The commutes in London are just on another level. When I speak to people from other cities, it's just like, oh yeah, my commute is half an hour, it's so annoying. And I'm like, oh, that's half an hour less than the average commute in London, one way. So yeah, decided to move out just outside of London, where, take half an hour train in. Thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. The trains are very expensive over there, and is sort of a, you're lucky if you make it there and back on time. It's rare. Doesn't happen often. And yeah, you usually don't get a seat during rush hour either, so it's kind of cramped. I mean, yeah, you have to stand on the tube as well, but I feel like standing on a train is, I don't know, it's less comfortable. It's not really designed for that. So yeah, you couldn't really see a doctor, so it was private healthcare, everything. And yeah, just sort of, it just doesn't look good. You're kind of seeing a lot of issues over there. And then as your income goes up, you just get taxed more and more, and you don't really see, like, where is it going? Things don't get built, and it felt like people are kind of, like, the general population is okay with that, like, not individually perhaps, but yeah, I guess it's just like NIMBYism at the end of the day, and like their planning system. But yeah, like, I think I just saw a lot of problems in the UK, and I think the problems in the UK would probably, I've seen people say, oh, you could replace the UK with my country, and it's exactly the same. So I think this is kind of, these are issues that are happening in a lot of places. So I kind of thought, let's move back to Hong Kong. Every time I'd visit, so obviously my wife is from Hong Kong, so I do have a connection to here. So the idea was, I kind of like don't care about like optimizing for where you live. Just like, it just started to feel kind of stupid, and I kind of regret doing it now. I guess that's the message of this video. If you're still watching, the message is that I regret optimizing for where I live. I wish I just stayed near family, and if I could do it all over again, I would just be, my opinion would be basically, the game is stupid, and you should just live near your family, live near your friends. Don't leave them. They matter more than your career, than anything else. And yeah, that might not apply to everyone, but in general, like, that's kind of what I would recommend, or what I wish I did. I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but that's what I wish I did. So that's what we're doing now. We live in Hong Kong, so we're near my wife's family, and in summer we go to Iceland and spend some time with my family, and that's kind of the playbook now. And on Hong Kong, I think after living in the UK, we'd visit Hong Kong usually like every year, obviously not during COVID, but every year we'd come here and we'd notice that things are still quite nice in Hong Kong. You haven't had like crazy inflation, and things still kind of cost the same. The economy, people here complain about the economy, but like compared to most economies in Europe, it's like a dream. Obviously, it's weird. It's a tax haven. The government operates in a weird way where they make their money from land sales, etc. So yeah, it is what it is. But in general, things are kind of functional. Like if the subway here, the MTR, doesn't run or has issues, it's like it's on the news that day, like the city grinds to a halt basically where that happens. It's bad. So it's like I don't know, it just feels like, I wouldn't say things have gotten better here, but they just haven't really changed as much for the worse. And yeah, it's obviously, housing is expensive. It has lots of issues, but I think for at least the stage of life that we are at, it's a little bit better. And yeah, the sort of opportunities here have gotten better as well. And I mean, that's obviously going to depend on what you do, but for those who are aware, the salaries in the UK have been pretty stagnant for a long time. But here they kind of follow more of the like America model, so they've gone up kind of more in line with the US economy. So that's kind of where we ended up. But yeah, the message is I wish I just stayed near family and didn't worry so much about living somewhere that is like trying to optimize for living, trying to optimize for the best city. And you can look at these like Monaco has a city livability index, and The Economist has one, and I've lived in some of the most livable cities. I didn't mention it, I lived in Zurich as well for a little while. There is something to those indexes, but I wouldn't look at them and think, oh, I'm gonna move there because this city is ranked high. It's completely meaningless, really. It's good as like a macro view, but for example, Vancouver was highly livable for a long time, but then it's sort of, yeah, like all the problems I listed earlier, and like those kind of things don't show up on indexes, like no indexes like that. So I wouldn't look at those and think, oh, that's a good way to make life decisions. So yeah, that's this morning's rant. I'll be posting these. I don't know if anyone watches them. It's just it's more of a way for me to just dump some thoughts, whatever's on my mind. I'll dump it on here. Feel free to watch or not watch. And if you have thoughts on anything I said, feel free to comment. I have no subscribers. I have no viewers, so I will read your comment. But, be nice. All right, friends. Take care.